Welcome to the Single Sidebar podcast with your host, Dr. Sam I Am. We are elated that you decided to tune into this podcast. We're going to be focusing on 3 areas: health, wealth, and traveling well for singles living in the 21st century. So let me pull you to the side and help you get your life together so that you can maximize your season of singleness. We're so glad that you came back and joined us for another episode of Single Sidebar Podcast. Again, on today, we have Coach Lynch with us. This is part 2 of our sit-down conversation with Coach Lynch. And if you have not already done so, make sure you listen to episode number 2 so that you can pick up with us on episode number 3, the conversation that we're about to have on today. And this one is about to be even greater, grander, juicier. We're about to get all up in his business. And so on the last episode, Coach was talking about when he was actually incarcerated and sharing his story about how his incarceration actually freed him. And so, Coach, I'm going to get you to pick up on that and share away.
Man, I have no idea what you're talking about, but I'm going to put it together. There were a lot of things that I was pursuing when I was, on the street. And it wasn't, I don't think I knew exactly what I wanted. Mm-hmm. But my incarceration was, it was a great time for reflection. It was a great time to become self-aware and for me to, really, rewrite my story to give direction wherever it was I wanted to go. So I was able to figure out all the things that I wanted out of life because I was alone. And when I talk to people about being alone, like I spent 10 years by myself. So people really you have to respect what I'm saying when I say be alone. Because I was lonely, but I still learned how to be alone. And there is a difference. I learned how to figure out what were the things that I wanted. I learned how to communicate. I learned how to articulate my thoughts. I learned how to engage and stimulate people where I didn't have to be physically there. So all of that helped enhance my relationships when I was able to be physically present. And I don't mean a relationship just from a sexual standpoint. I mean, any person that I choose to engage in, there's a different type of energy that transpires because I know how to be, to be attentive. I know how to listen. I know how to respond or when not to respond when I'm talking to people, because you have to figure these things out when you get minimal communication. You want those times when you do have contact with people to be very meaningful. So I take those things into consideration when I'm even physically with people now, and it's just stuff that I learned when I was by myself. Me and my wife are actually writing a book called The 7 Levels of Love. And the first level of love starts with connection, right? And it ends with covenant. But, what people don't understand is the second level is communication. And what people don't understand is a lot of us, we try this communication thing, and we're forgetting that you can't communicate with people without a connection first. If I was to call you on a cell phone and I can't get through, there's no way that we can talk. So we're out here entering relationships with people, and we're taking these steps and these dates and stuff like that. And there's really no connections at all. And we're trying to communicate with people. So, I'll have you know that even though, I came home and I married Wendy, Wendy wasn't the woman that I communicated with the most. Wendy was the woman that I had the best connection with. So me and Wendy's communications, they were few and far in between, right? But even though I spent more time communicating with someone else, that connection wasn't there. So when me and Wendy finally got back to communicating on a regular basis, we went to the next level, which was courtship. Now, I don't want to give away all my levels here because then you would
Don't
have
give it
to
away
actually.
yet.
So a lot of us are courting people, right? We're not communicating and we're not connecting, and we've already got to courtship. I want you to understand what's going on here. When you don't have the levels right? This is a comprehensive step-by-step method, and you have to connect first, right? And you got to have a bond. You got to have a strong connection where if you guys are apart for a while, then even when you pick back up with communication, it feels like you never left off. And that's what I had, and that's what I found in Wendy, and I knew she was the one. Like literally, I used to have I don't want to talk too much about this stuff, but I used to have so when I was on the street, I had a lot of women, and I had a lot of women who wrote me while I was gone, and I would have a lot of pictures in my photo album. And guys would come around and they would say, "Man, you got all these women and everything. If you had to pick one when you were when you go home and you're going to marry one, which one would it be?" And I would always say Wendy, because it was all about the connection. See, when you have a connection, you can build from there. If you don't have a connection, you might as well hang it up. So what I'm going to do, and me and Wendy, what we're going to do is we're going to teach people, singles, couples, and everything, how to find and look for that connection. So, it's going to be some dope stuff, but you got to look out for it, man. And these affirmations, man, they really help, man.
They do, y'all. And so, not to get all up in my personal business, but guys know one of the things that we're going to do on this podcast is be candid, and be real and be raw. So Coach wrote me a new one this Sunday when I told him about a situationship, as I like to call it. A situationship. And so that's one of the things him and Wendy Boat were talking about was that having that necessary connection, then to the communication, courtship, and so forth and so on, all the way down to that covenant. So keeping it at number 7. 7 is the number of completion. I don't know why I'm holding up the number 4, but 7, y'all. 7, okay? I do know how to count. All right? And so having those specific levels, because again, those are necessary. 7, again, biblically is the number of completion. This is when it's all written, it's all done, it's all said and done. And so to get to that covenant, so there were affirmations that even he had given me for me to begin to say to myself 5 times in the morning, 5 times at lunch, 5 times at dinner, and continuously making sure that I say those things. And it helped really clarify and break down that whole situationship. And so you need that person in your life. I encourage every single specifically to find that person of the opposite sex. Now, let me say this. Don't be having feelings for that person if you're going to find a person of opposite sex, okay? That's important. But somebody who can really give you some clarity, who can break some things down to you and really explain to you like, yo, you tripping. You need that person. It's not a criticism, but they're giving you critical feedback to change you, to help you better see that situation in another way. So I'm grateful that I have that person in Lynch who can rip me a new one, set me free, and then, smile and laugh at me, y'all.
Let's give them the 5 affirmations that we came up with yesterday.
Hold on. Let me pull them up. And so what he did, I wrote them down on my index cards. And
3x5 index cards. Place them on the bathroom mirror. Right? So when you wake up and you're brushing your teeth, first thing in the morning when you wake up, when the brain is operating on 10.5 wave cycles per second, right? The frequency that you need to produce spontaneous mental imagery, because the brain and the mind only works in pictures. We want to plant the picture of what we seek in our head right where we stand, right?
Yes,
at
sir.
that time. So we picked number 14, number 16, number 20, number 22, and number 23. What was 14?
14, I draw love and romance into my life with ease. Next one.
Go ahead.
I'm allowing myself to radiate a love so powerful that my soulmate is drawn to me right now. Next one is, I trust God will find me my perfect match. Other one, I am magnetic and resistible. Excuse me. I don't know why I can't read today.
I am magnetic and irresistible to a positive, loving relationship.
And then the last one is I radiate unconditional love, and I'm confident that my beloved is on their way.
Okay. So why was my 14, 16, 20, and 23 different than yours?
I don't know.
I had like 2 of them there. So you didn't have, I gave you 22 and 23. 22 was, oh no, I think you did them in a different, order.
I'll probably
You
put
wrote
them
them
up.
down in different order. Yeah,
Yeah, that's
you
probably
wrote
what
them
it
up
is.
the
But
other
I
way.
did
Got
write
you.
them down.
Yep.
Yeah. So yeah, so those were the affirmations, and I started that on Monday. Actually, I started that Sunday when I was actually writing them
Right,
on
Sunday
the
night.
index card.
Yep.
And so I pasted that up on Sunday, and then of course, doing those Monday. Today's Tuesday, so I've already done 15, 15, 30.
Mm-hmm.
I'm include that Sunday night, so another 5.
Right.
And so that is important to really boost your confidence. And so when I was sharing the story with a friend of mine, I was like, girl, that's done. Like,
Yeah.
done. Like,
Done.
I ain't even bothered with you. And of course, Big Bro over here was being a little petty with some other stuff, but I ain't gonna tell y'all what he said after that because that's between us. And so, but it really helps to free your mind when you have those affirmations,
Yes.
as well as have that person who you can confide in, who you can trust in, and that will be honest and transparent and real with you about your situationship. Okay.
Right. So you want those affirmations so you can help strengthen your, your belief system. You want to say those over and over and over again so that they get embedded into your subconscious mind. That repetition then will become a habit, and that habit, is going to be a part of you. And life is like a mirror, and basically like what you experience in your reality is a reflection of your current beliefs. So if you keep saying these affirmations over and over again, they'll get down into your belief system, and you will really feel like the universe is drawing towards you your perfect mate at that time. You just have to get on that frequency, and that's what it's all about. Just the repetitions,
Repetition.
daily practice,
and really learning, like he said, learning how to enjoy that moment on the sideline, or as I like to say, the sidebar, and chill. Like, just chill. Don't be thirsty and desperate. Like, just chill.
Be open.
Right. Be open. Definitely be open. And so about 2 weeks ago, Coach was sharing with my students. He shares with my students all the time, every semester. He is like one of the ones they always look forward to. Like, when Coach Lynch coming? When Coach Lynch?
Last week.
Like,
might have only been
like
last week.
Oh gosh. That was quick. Yeah. So anywho, so I told him, I said, I don't know why you more famous than me. I'm the one giving the grades. I don't know why they always requesting him, and I'm the one that have to put that midterm.
Because I am prosperity, I am greatness, I am success, I am the best.
He has a mindset of a champion, y'all.
That's right.
And so one of the things you had talked about, Coach, and you had shared with the class was waiting while you and Wendy decided to wait until marriage. And so if you don't mind, can you share that with us, where you all was mentally in that moment?
Yeah. So me and Wendy, we've been fasting together once a month at the beginning of every month to strengthen our ties that bind. We we've been doing this for before we got married. I want to say, man, it's been maybe about 8 or 9 years now.
Wow.
So we've like every month, the beginning of every month, first weekend, we fast together, and that makes our bond that much stronger. We did a physical cleanse, we did a spiritual cleanse, we did all this stuff so that we could have a clean slate together before we even started. So that clean slate, it was like we don't have any problems from our past relationships, and I believe it's it's a direct reflection of us doing this spiritual fast and physical fast before we decided to get serious. Like when you have that connection, you know that this is the one. and things are just so divine. We had to do everything right because everything about our relationship wasn't right. You got to figure, here I am, a convicted felon. Here I am, the leader of an $8.3 million drug ring, and here she is, GPD. She's a Greensboro
Yeah,
police
she's a police
police
officer, y'all.
officer. She's a detective for the Greensboro Police Department. So everything about that doesn't work on paper. It doesn't
Right.
work, to the conventional eye or whatever. But conventional mind, it doesn't work. But when you have a connection, when you have a covenant, then everything. Things can't. It's a line. Things can't be stopped. It's
Right.
ordained. It's
Right.
divine. So you know. We decided that we weren't going to have sex until we got married. If you think about it, man, a lot of people that come home from prison, the first thing they want to do is, I want to get this out my system and I want to do this, that, and the
Right.
third.
Right.
I did things the total opposite. I said, you know what? I have the person I want to be with, but what we're going to do is we'll wait and we'll get blessed even more. And
That's right.
it was only I think we got married 3 months after I
Mhm.
came home. I came home. Well, I went to the halfway house in January, and we got married March 23rd, which is 323. I took the 3 from the day she was born, which was July 3rd, and the 23 from the day I was born, which was November 23rd, and the day she was born and the day I was born became the day we were born, which was 323. So,
I got a pause you right there, y'all.
yeah.
Y'all see how strategic that was, how divine that was? I mean, that's it. That's it all the way. Okay, as you were.
Yeah, so just things like that. And at the time, I was in the halfway house in Philly, and Wendy was living here in Greensboro. So we were still in a long distance relationship. So here I am, I'm fresh out of prison. I'm choosing, and I'm working in a gym, and of course, you train 95% women anyway. So it was never in our relationship, there has never been a case of anybody just being insecure. And I believe it's because we take time to secure our bond. We take
Right.
time to communicate. We take time to keep our connection, together. We take time by keeping the creator in our life, to keep our covenant there. So, and we take time for courtship. I'm not giving away my whole sevens. Y'all might steal my stuff before it come out, man. It's on the way out though, real soon. I can't give you all 7 levels,
Don't
but
give
that's
it.
about
Don't
4
give
of
it to
them
them.
right there. Now the other 3,
Don't
I'm
give
gonna
it to
keep them
them.
guessing.
Gotta keep
But
them
but
guessing.
those are that's the foundation of our
Right.
relationship, and that's why our relationship is so strong. A lot of people, they give relationship advice and they have all this different type of stuff, but you can't really. You got to be able to see that stuff in these people. So just because people are
That's
married, just because people have been married a long time, it's kind of
does not
tough
mean
for
that's
people to
right.
be the example when you do not exude that. And you can't listen. You can't fake energy. You can't fake, the real deal. And that's why people gravitate towards us as a couple, because we're the real
Right.
deal. We don't mind like having a dispute in front of you. This is real. We're not going to agree on everything. But
That's
at the
right.
end of the day, we know that we can't
Mhm.
go to bed in disagreement.
Mhm.
So
Mhm.
we got things
Mhm.
in place, and we don't never nobody's allowed to sleep in a different bed or different room. So we can't go to bed mad at each other. We have to resolve that issue before we go to sleep.
That's
Yo, it's
right.
crazy. We got a lot of stuff. We got a lot of things that we made our foundation, built our relationship on, that we still stick to, is our fundamentals. We stick to them to this day. And I'm telling you, if you don't put that stuff into play, it's going to be tough. And that's because we knew what we wanted individually. So when you don't know what you want individually, you'll never be able to come together as 2 separate components to become one whole. So I've played on a lot of sports teams in my life, and
Mhm.
I know that just because you're on a team doesn't mean that your individual position isn't important. And you have to play that individual position to the best of your ability so that the team can flourish. And that's what it's all about. People knowing their individual role within the grand scheme of things to make the entire thing that much better.
Mic drop. Okay, my phone dropped, but mic drop. Okay, and so I've always well, let me tell y'all how I knew they were legit. The like really legit as a couple. I remember one day, I think it was Coach or Wendy, I text, and actually it was both of them. I text both of them. I had laid down to take a nap, and I literally had a dream about them too, and just saw them working in marriage ministry. And I remember I text them, and just from that dream, I was like, "Oh God, they're for real." But I didn't know the backstory of everything, about either one of them and how they came together as one. And so to have had that dream and then to actually see what it is that they're doing now and how they're operating in their gift, how they're operating in their anointing is just remarkable to me. And so they really truly are live out. I've seen them not just in public, but seen them in private. And what you see in public, y'all, for real, is what you literally legit see in private, and they're amazing couple. They're amazing parents, amazing friends, amazing siblings, because they're my siblings. And so, and like Coach said,
You said I get on your nerves.
You do.
How are you amazing and get on your nerves at the same time?
That's what siblings do. That's what siblings do, y'all. They get on each other's nerves. But at the end of the day, it's nothing but love. I will go back for both of them. Like, talk about them if you want to. I'm just saying. Go ahead and talk about them if you want to. It's going to be some problems. But anywho, I digress. And so what Coach was talking about, and I said it on the first episode, is that you cannot be a half and a half trying to make a whole.
You can't.
It's 1 + 1 = 1. That's biblical, y'all.
That's right.
It's 1 + 1. It's not. It's not logical. It just doesn't make any sense, and it's not supposed to. Faith doesn't make sense, and so for him to talk about it that way, to being an individual, to being one, making sure that you're one before you enter into that relationship, y'all. Like, stop jumping from relationship to relationship.
Yeah. I think you need to spend time with yourself.
Yeah.
You spend time with yourself, then you know what you want, you know what you don't want. And a lot of times, in life, we do have, messed up relationships, but we figure out what we don't want.
Right.
And that's the thing. I mean, that's just the thing. If you can figure out what you don't want, then you'll save yourself mad time, messing around with other people. You'll save yourself time, energy, and money. If you can get your system, that's your system right there. But can you imagine just waking up? So we have a system, and we say our affirmations when we wake up, and we have individual affirmations, but we also have, relationship affirmations that we say to each other. And, I just want, can I share a few? Share a couple with them?
Of course.
So I wake up and I have to say, how I say 5 times, I got to say it to myself. Well, 5 times I say these to my wife. So on the days that we wake up together, I actually have to say, I am thankful for the love in my life, and I'm thankful for my caring partner. So I say, my heart is open to receiving and giving love. I say, I allow myself to be loved and for my partner to love who I am. I say, I am in a loving relationship filled with unconditional love, trust, and respect. So when you have affirmations, like when you can look at your partner and say these things to them, like, you set your whole relationship on a totally different frequency. Nobody in the world wakes up and says that to their partner every single day. They might say, I love you, have a great day, honey, and be off on their way. But imagine what kind of frequency this could put you on. This is gold, man. And I'm telling you that you can't fake this stuff right here. This only comes when you're aligned with the Creator. So you have to take the information that you get, and you have to put it in play. So we get information from all these different places, and we want to have something way better. We want to have these things in our life, but people don't do what you did Sunday. You got information and you put it right into play. That's because you want something different. But now you got to be something different, right? So I gave you the information. It made sense, and you put it into play. Now, how many people do you talk to? Do you counsel? Do you teach, right? And you give them information, and then you come back to them next month, and they still sitting on that information, or maybe forgot about it. Same thing.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Absolutely right. And you feel like it's a waste of time. And I think one of the biggest things for me is that, first off, don't waste my time. But I'm mindful of other people's time.
Yes.
So, why would I take the time to sit down and get the information and not apply it. Like, you play.
Oh, people do that all the time. Now,
Yeah,
I mean, that's just.
But people playing themselves.
Well, they don't know any better. They're information hoarders, and that's just 95% of our culture. We just information hoarders. We're going to gather a bunch of information. We're not going to do with it nothing with it, and we're going to go off and gather some more information. People come to me, text me. They send me emails and DMs. They say, I'm going to read 100 books this year. I'm going to read 2 a week. A whole bunch of gathering of information, and they're not going to do anything. And I simply tell them, I don't leave one chapter. I don't move off of one chapter in a book until I can teach it. So I might be on the same book all year, but I'm going to be applying that knowledge that I receive every day, all day, because I have a standard of being able to teach that information and put it into play. And that's what we need to do. We need to put the stuff into play as soon as we get it. I guarantee you the people watching this podcast are not going to rewind this thing and pause to put down those affirmations that we both said during the last taping.
So, y'all, tip for this episode, okay? Gather you some affirmations. You can go back. The video is on YouTube. Rewind so that you can pause the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Go back and listen to the affirmations. And then, of course, make sure that you follow Coach Lynch. I am Coach Lynch. Did I say that right? I am Coach Lynch.
I am Coach Lynch.
I just want to make sure.
On Instagram is I am _Coach_Lynch.
Yes.
On YouTube is I am Coach Lynch. Yes.
So go to his YouTube channel, you all. And actually, you can also subscribe to the daily text where they send you the affirmations.
Yes.
So that you can get a daily affirmation.
So text the word AWOL to the number 77222, and you can get daily affirmations and daily motivation and empowerment so that you know exactly what to say. So the tip for this episode,
get you some affirmations.
Yes.
Okay. Get your affirmations, guys. I'm telling you, it makes a difference. And for my super deep people, you can add scripture to it. Turn the scripture into an affirmation, okay? Because I know, well, we're going to leave that alone. Anywho, get you some affirmations because you need that to start rewriting your vocabulary. You need to start rewriting your language, rewriting what it is that you're saying. Like he said, life and death lies in the power of the tongue.
That's right.
You have the authority to rewrite your future. And you start with just one affirmation every day. Saying it to yourself. 5 times for breakfast, 5 times for lunch, 5 times for dinner. Stick it around your room. Stick it around your office. Make sure that you have, I'm going to take mine. I haven't done it yet, but making my screensaver on my phone so that I can constantly have those reminders and then sharing it with somebody else. Having somebody who you can be accountable to, that you're continuously changing the dynamics of your future. So, Coach Lynch, Thank you. Thank you. We are so appreciative. We're going to have him back another couple of episodes again so he can drop this knowledge. Just go to, he do, y'all. Yeah. He can talk. So
30 minutes. Give me 30 minutes. What's wrong with you? I'm just getting warmed up at 30.
So thank you guys so much for joining us, and we hope that you join us for the next episode. Thank you for joining us for today's episode of the Single Sidebar Podcast. It is our hope that you took away something from today's episode that you can immediately apply to your life. Make sure that you follow us on Instagram at the Single Sidebar Podcast or at Dr. Sam Am1 if you would like to continue the conversation from today. We do hope that you are able to join us for our next episode.